One of the big business models in CSGO over the past 6 years has really been the trading site. It's a pretty simple concept. Basically, the website just acts as a counterparty for your trade, it's convenient, it's quick, and it also has a commission because, obviously, it is not going to be free. Now, trading sites aren't quite as big as they used to be. When Valve added a 7-day cooldown to skins after they got traded, it hit this business model pretty hard. Many of them were forced to up their fees and saw their revenue slashed, but they still retain a major presence. The user-friendly design of these sites makes them really attractive to casual players. Well, casual players and also scammers. For example, you might have heard of a site called Loot Farm. Loot Farm had this little incident in 2019 where someone came onto the site and basically stole all their skins. Apparently there was an exploit that allowed the hackers to generate fake balance on the site, and luckily the devs found it and patched it, but unfortunately by that point the site had lost its entire tradable inventory. And by the way, a lot of that was investor funds too. You can't see it anymore, but from what I remember at the time, the value of investor holdings dropped by 70% or something like that. Now, sometimes these hacks just happen. You can't foresee everything, and sometimes something just goes wrong. And hey, at least Loot Farm didn't do this to themselves. I mean, no trading site would ever make that mistake, right? Anyway, let's talk about prices for a second, because this is actually a very big part of the story. Skin sites do not price stuff the same way as other marketplaces. So let's take CS Money for example. You can buy a Dragon Lore on this site for $17,594 and you can also get a 40% bonus when you top up, which means in practice, it's more like $12,576. And that might sound great, but Dragon Lores are actually only $9,200 on buff. But there is a reason CS Money is locked into having their severely inflated prices, and it's something that Zipple did a really good job in explaining in this video here.
Because they actually just neglect updating their prices, because what they know right now is that after the market went down, they updated the prices when it went up. Then when it dropped, they don't want to update it again. And if they update the prices now, they're instantly gonna lose like millions of dollars because people have, you know, sold some items to get out of some dips.
Yeah, so the problem is skin prices kind of crashed mid-year, and if they updated their prices to reflect that, they would get absolutely smashed by anyone with balance on the site. And as a result, a lot of trading sites have very inflated prices for their skins. And one of these sites with inflated prices is the main focus of this video, Tradeit.gg. Now, the fact that they price their skins at 80% more than their actual value is important, and it is going to come up again later. But in the meantime, I should probably mention something else odd about Tradeit.gg. Over the last couple of months, the site has been repeatedly fleeced for tens of thousands of dollars by market manipulators who force up the price of certain skins and then dump them on the site, and the owners just don't seem to care. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is that it gives you a sense of the general level of competence, or complete lack thereof, in the people who run this site. I'm sure Tradeit.gg is mega lucrative. I'm sure it doesn't affect their bottom line much, but the fact that it's even happening does show that they're kind of asleep at the wheel. And this next mistake was about to take things to a whole nother level. You see, at about 6 AM on a blissful Saturday morning, about 45 minutes after I'd gone to sleep, a user by the name of Voithia tweeted out a massive discovery. The code 3P7EBUP appeared to give you a 30% discount when you deposit on Tradeit.gg, and this was a pretty big deal. Tradeit.gg's prices are about 180% of buff on average, buff price being the actual price of the skins. Now, 30% off that isn't a great deal. Basically, it means you're paying 126% buff now instead. Not worth it, except that wasn't the only discount Tradeit.gg was offering. No, they had the Christmas spirit, and because of that, they were offering customers 40% off anyway, and these discounts stacked. And when you combine those two, you're not paying 126% anymore, you're paying 54%. And this is what we in the industry like to call free money. Now, the world didn't immediately burn when Voithia discovered this. In fact, his initial tweet didn't get much notice, allowing a couple of early adopters to sneak in and snipe some of the skins before anyone else realized what was going on. But by 8 AM, the news had reached Discord, and at that point, the feeding frenzy began. People quickly began shopping around for the best deals they possibly could. Deals like $200 off on a Phase 2 M9 Doppler, or $3,000 off on a minimal wear Dragon Lore, or $4,000 off on a Sapphire M9 Doppler. This also sparked an immediate buying frenzy as people tried to get their hands on whatever they could. Skin after skin after skin was bought at disgusting discounts, but in all of the carnage, there was a small catch that was going to save Trader.gg from total and utter destruction. You see, the discount only worked once per account. You couldn't do it on multiple transactions, and although a lot of people have alts, getting your payment methods verified for the sale was pretty time consuming, and this would bring Trader.gg precious breathing room to try and shut things down before they faced total and utter annihilation. And at 9:30 AM, they finally figured out what was happening and hit the kill switch. The exploit was over, and now the fallout began. Now, by 10 AM, the exploit was highly public. Tons of people knew it had happened. Lots of them were flaunting what they'd done, there was no hiding it, but there was also a potential PR disaster in the making, because a lot of people were mid-sale when the site shut down. Getting your payment details verified and getting it all to work took time, and when Trader.gg went offline, these people were cut off at the knees. Now, luckily it seems like Trader.gg's marketing department is significantly more competent than its coding one. They quickly announced that anyone who didn't get their skins would be refunded, and after that they began retweeting everyone who sniped something. I'm going to say it's probably the smartest play you could have done in their position. You don't want to look like humorless bastards, and apparently as a special event each month, they're going to be giving a few random people the same discount. I'm sure there is no way that could possibly go wrong. But hey, important question. How did any of this happen in the first place? Now, I asked Trader.gg and they didn't say how it happened or even really reply at all, but I have managed to get a rough idea of what took place. So let's start with this code, 3P7EBUP. What is up with it? Where did it come from? Well, it seems like it's actually just an ordinary Trader.gg referral code. It's been out there for at least a couple of months, and it actually isn't what caused the glitch, because there is something I haven't told you yet. You see, some people might have noticed earlier that I showed you someone using the referral code Sparkles to exactly the same effect, and the reason he's using this code is pretty simple. The bug appears to have worked with every referral code on the site, not just this one. Obviously that hasn't been able to be tested scientifically or anything like that, there was only a limited window of time, but it seems like the problem was with the entire referral system. How a screw up like that happens, I have no idea. I think someone is getting fired, but either way, I think the whole event can be comfortably explained by colossal incompetence on the back end of the site. Someone coded something very, very wrong. And despite some of the smiles about it publicly from the website's management, behind closed doors, it was probably not quite so funny. A lot of people bought a lot of very high-end stuff for very big discounts. It wasn't a tiny loss. And the site also has investors, people who've invested their skins into the site hoping to get a return. And some of them at least have pulled out after this. And this could potentially hurt them even more than the bug itself. Or maybe not. The internet has a short attention span, and given that, I'm gonna end the video. If you've enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe, massively appreciated. Otherwise, trust the numbers, not your guts. I'm Heyzeus, thanks for watching, see ya.